Hi, this is RN Bhaskar from Bhaskar Ki Business Baatein. Thank you for being here. Every week we talk of policy, or we talk about a story, or we do an interview. Today I'm going to do a policy discussion on what is the government calls the PLI, Performance Linked Incentive. The name sounds nice. Performance Linked Incentive. In fact, all businesses should be performance linked. But the government's PLI, which was introduced 5 years ago, is a little unusual. The government's incentive is for those sectors that are capital intensive and not labor intensive. Is it a good idea? Well, we'll discuss that. First, remember that India is a country which has lots and lots and lots of people. When you have lots of people, you need lots of jobs. And when you need lots of jobs, it is better to promote labor-intensive industries rather than capital-intensive industries. There's another reason why you have to be careful about capital-intensive industries. India is a country where capital always becomes more expensive than anywhere in the world. Why? 2 reasons. One, we are not efficient at handling cargo. So when the cargo arrives at the docks, and by the time it comes to factories, there's a lot of time delay, and every time delay causes an interest cost to go up. So as a result, capital becomes expensive. The second reason is that the Indian rupee keeps depleting and diminishing in value. So capital-intensive industries require lots and lots of capital. And there's a third reason why. Most capital-intensive industries require goods to be imported. And imported goods means our balance of payments are always under pressure. For some reason, the government decided that we shall promote capital-intensive industries. That would have been all right, except for one more factor. As Arvind Subramanian, the former chief economic advisor to the government of India and today a professor overseas, pointed out at a public discussion in Bombay almost 4 years ago, that look at your import structure. In 1990, we brought in liberalization. The Vajpayee government brought in more liberalization, and all import duties are kept low so that industry could get goods at cheaper prices and the consumer would not face inflation. Unfortunately, the government has kept on increasing import duties. Look at this chart. And the chart will tell you how import duties have gone up. The government always says that we increase import duties to protect the domestic industries. But that is the same argument that Nehru and Mrs. Gandhi used to make. When you protect domestic industries and do not allow competition, the eventual person who pays the price is a consumer who finds goods becoming more expensive. If you want to protect the consumer, you have to keep duty rates low, under 15%, under 10%, even under 5%. Instead, the government has gone back in this past and has increased duty rates. Look further. Look at this other chart. You'll find that sectors in which investments have been made under the PLI scheme are sectors that are not very labor intensive. They're capital intensive and the jobs to be created are not very large. So what happens? India has a huge balance of payments problem. India has a huge import bill, and India does not create enough jobs which are desperately needed. Remember, India's unemployment is one of the largest in this part of the world. Finally, look at another chart. And this chart will tell you how some labor-intensive industries like leather and beef have been ignored altogether. The government has a problem with leather and beef. Fine, have a problem. But don't destroy industries before the other industries start making money. India needs jobs. For your ideas, when you destroy jobs, the ultimate sufferer is the common public. Don't destroy jobs. And then finally, look at one more sector which has always been India's strength. And that is the textile sector. For the first 4 years of the scheme, the government did nothing to promote the textile sector. Finally, the government gave some concessions for investments and PLI in the textile sector, but it was too little and too late. All the rest of Asia is booming with garments and textiles. India is languishing. India is growing, but is not growing at the same rate at which it could grow. India has been short-sighted in the way it looks at PLI. And PLI, because it creates goods which are capital intensive, and some of the capital intensive goods are things like semiconductors and silicon chips. Great idea. But remember, the world does not stop for India. The world has already moved to the next generation chips. The world has gone to better semiconductors. The world has gone to better chipsets. And the fight today is between China and the USA, and the products that India will manufacture may not be exportable because most countries will want the most advanced chips, will want the most advanced technologies, and India is still slipping into an older technology. This is not protection. It is a method by which India loses. Which is why I believe that India must relook the PLI scheme. Which is why I believe that India needs to look at labor-intensive sectors much, much more, especially garments, especially textiles, especially beef and leather. Remember, leather is a big employer. And leather is shoes, is sandals, it is the saddles that are put on horses anywhere in the world. India had a monopoly there, almost. Today, other countries are coming up. You are destroying India's strengths. Please look at labor-intensive industries. If you want, look at agro-products, because agriculture employs 50% of India's population. Look at agro-processing and see if you can do back-to-back exports. That would make sense, because the labor in agriculture remains protected and the value addition brings in foreign exchange. I thought I should highlight this problem because India is going through a crisis. As a subsequent podcast will tell you, that India is actually underperforming. But that is another time on some other date. Thank you for watching this. And do subscribe to our channel, because that is a way you will keep in touch with some of the latest analysis of what India is doing or not doing. Thank you for being here, and see you next time.